This scene is just absolutely cold. Actually, just pure savagery from Frieren. It really just gives us so many more layers to her character and showcase just how much animosity she has towards demons itself. And this episode perfectly depicts that. It gives us the much needed backstory for Frieren. It gives us, the backstory to where she kind of started learning magic to a degree, where her origin point was, losing her entire village, seeing how strong she was at a very early age, to where she's at currently now and her feelings that we can only, I guess at this point. And I think that, what happened here with this demon, Aura, is just interesting because Aura got played by her own game. Her objective here was to balance her mana on a scale. And if her mana was stronger than her opponent, aka Frieren's, she would instantly gain control of Frieren. And Frieren would be her servant. And then, Aura would, get rid of Frieren's head to be able to, control her more effectively. It would effectively mean that, Aura would have one of the strongest mages in history under her command, the mage that was responsible for bringing down the Demon King. So you can see the overall, temptation to want to have that power, what Aura was seeking and what Aura wanted to begin with. But Frieren played that very game against her and won. And I think that the delivery of this moment here, where Frieren literally says this, that you can see on screen, it showcases a lot about Frieren's character and how cold she is. Which, let's dive headfirst into that. She doesn't even look at Aura in the eyes when she delivers the command. It just showcases her own detachment from this situation and just how she already is looking at this situation with Aura as just a flash, a blink of the eye, so to speak, in her life, like a blip. And it's really just a dark perspective of this. It shows that Frieren's just like, eventually I'll kind of just forget about this because it just was so quick. It only lasted probably like 30 minutes and then that's it. That's just seconds, or not even seconds to Frieren's lifespan. So it's just like she walks away, doesn't even give Aura the justice of looking her in the eye. She just walks away, and it's a very cold delivery. And the final moments that, Aura sees before Frieren walks away and it fades to black, you can see like this right here. And as, she's doing the command that Frieren just said, you see the plop and then you see Frieren just walking away. And she's not looking back. You can tell by the blurriness, it's very blurry, but she's not looking back at her. And it just, once again, shows the overall detachment and malice that Frieren has to this very situation. It is really interesting. I legit love what this episode does for Frieren's character, because it's already been hinted at and kind of showcased that there is some cold nature to her. She always has this expression of being bored, but my goodness, was this scene just such an amazing scene as well, to give another layer to Frieren's character that, honestly, I don't think anyone really expected. Let's dive into this, okay? So before this sequence even happened, before Frieren even showcased her mana supply, obviously, to Aura, we already saw the scale tipping, which meant that Frieren didn't really need to showcase her mana or anything, that, she would just win in the end. She would win. She could have just drawn out the whole sequence and all that and allowed, the slow anticipation of the scale tipping into Frieren's favor, but Frieren didn't care. She just instantly showed her mana to tip the scale and absolutely scare the crap out of Aura. And what better way to really showcase this is this scene. Soon as, this mana pops up, you see Aura just give up. She puts the sword down. And this is a very significant thing that, doesn't necessarily need to be described with a lot of detail through, voices and stuff. It says enough, because everything that this episode really tried to hammer in and establish is the very status, the vanity that demons have. Demons view their society as, you're superior if your mana supply is stronger. That's just how they go. That's what they look at. It's kind of like how humans in general, we, have our wealth on our sleeve. For instance, we showcase beautiful clothing, gold, all that type of stuff. Our mansions, houses. And so we understand it from that. That's how humans are. While demons, they look at mana as that equivalent, their vanity. And so when you see this, when she takes a hard look at Frieren's mana supply and how massive it is, Aura's thought process in this very moment is probably she is on par with the Demon King. Because this episode establishes that Frieren's mentor said, I don't want you to leave your name in history until you're able to bring down the Demon King. And obviously, she has now brought down the Demon King, and she's only continuously gotten stronger since that point. So Frieren is pretty much Demon King or beyond Demon King level of mana supply in terms of strength. So this mana that, Aura fills is that level. And so she's like a peon, or a general, or a lower level general in comparison to what Frieren is, and she's just like an ant up against a mountain. And it's scary. It is a legitimately scary moment for her, and I think that it just says a lot with very few lines or anything. It's great. It's such a great sequence. But getting back into the point of the scales, and that Frieren didn't need to show this mana, it hints at the malice and how she disregarded some of the teachings of her teacher in this episode. Let's explain. So basically, Frieren's teacher, when she met, these two met, Frieren's teacher was like, I need you to hide your mana for your entire life. That's what you need to do. It needs to become natural, like breathing. You need to always hide your mana. And at first glance, it's like, wow, that seems like a lot of strain. But the reason for it is to always deceive demons, to always, be on, like, the winning side, so to speak, because demons always look at mana. So if you're always hiding it, and it's just, like, breathing to you of hiding it, they won't be able to tell how strong you really are, and they will, I guess, underestimate you. And that's obviously what happened with Aura versus Frieren in this episode. But the big point of this is that Frieren's teacher wanted to make a very big point here in saying that you should always hide it, and that it is, a mockery of mages. It is basically throwing away what it means to be a mage. And why is that? Well, it's a very easy thing to really guess at. When you're someone so magically gifted that you can shape the elements, control the weather, create things out of thin air thanks to your magic supply, you might start getting quite the ego. You might get vanity. You might feel like, you are literally a demigod or a god. And, mages want to show this on their sleeve because it's the accumulation of just countless years, decades, centuries, etc. of wisdom, of training to be how strong they are. And so obviously they want to showcase how strong they are. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, you've put so much time and effort into it. Why wouldn't you want to show how truly powerful you are as a mage? So when you see these two hide their mana, it's a mockery of everything a mage technically is, because they usually want to show their magic, and only other mages can really feel their magic, and it kind of puts a level of respect between the two. But obviously, hiding the magic is kind of disregarding what it means to really be a mage to a degree, because they're not showcasing anymore. But Frieren has always done this. She's hid her power. But when she showcases her actual magic capability here to Aura and freaks her the hell out, what this basically is malice. That Frieren is showing pure 100% malice towards Aura and is like, yeah, this is how strong I am. I didn't need to do this, but I want you to feel this. I want you to see this of how strong I am and how much of a disadvantage you were to the very beginning, and play a demon at its own game. It's interesting because this goes into like the hatred that Frieren has probably for demons. I mean, she lost her entire village. Everybody died in her village. And one thing that is left unsaid, but we could assume, is that Frieren obviously fought like a general level demon at such a young age, like over 1,000 years ago. And basically, she won. She almost died, clearly. She was gonna die if her teacher didn't come, but she almost won. And you gotta imagine there was a lot of emotion there. Even if she doesn't express it on her face, she has a lot of emotion, clearly, to go to this extent to bring down a demon like that. And I think that one of the big reasons why Frieren acts like she is as well is probably because of this. We gotta remember how her lifespan is. Everything is a blink of an eye. It's a blip. And so, to Frieren, this moment might be just like how it feels it was just yesterday to her. So she's still trying to process everything. There's a lot of hatred and animosity there that is just bubbling still that she's always had for demons, and you see that at the end of this episode. So, like I said, there's a lot of layers that this episode does for her character, and I like how this was presented in the anime. It truly is amazing. Now, I want to give a little bit of an FYI. Once this arc comes to a close, I'm anime only. I have not read beyond this point of the manga. I know I should, but I stopped reading at the time because I caught up and I just never went back to reading more chapters. But this is as far as I got with the manga. So, I'm going to be anime only alongside all of you. So this is going to be quite the fun journey. I'm excited. But Anyways, the point of the matter is that we had a spectacular episode of Frieren that really dived into a lot of nitty-gritty details, showcasing the hatred that Frieren's teacher had as well for demons, and then her last acts of her life when she finally started to mellow out, she wanted Frieren to learn magic that wasn't fit for combat and killing demons, flower magic, creating flowers, which kind of hints at why Frieren searches down these really odd magic techniques is to honor her teacher and what she really likes. What she likes in magic is not necessarily fighting, but just finding little odd things that make the world a better place. So it's a really unique little exchange between these characters. It's very beautiful, and I mean, we even get the introduction to Frieren and her party, her original hero, Demon King killing party, and like, it's just, yeah, there's a lot of details here that's poured into this. Like, this sequence right here, where Frieren is like thinking about everything, and then you have like a flash of, you know, fighting the demons and stuff throughout those years with, you know, the actual hero. It's really interesting how quick this is. Like, it's a flash. It's just like a blink of an eye. I'm really happy that Studio Madhouse has had a resurgence as of late. Like, they made a few anime prior to Frieren, but it's nice to see them kind of getting back up on their horse and really making some classics that really just will stand the, you know, test of time. I mean, one thing that I think that the studio is always excelled at, and I know it comes down to the staff, but like, for some reason, anytime Madhouse like tries to tackle certain series like fantasy, they do a very good job with it. Even if it isn't the best art and animation, like Overlord, good example. Overlord has a lot of flaws as an anime, and I've talked about it considerably over the years, but even with all its many flaws as an anime, it still was really good in terms of the way it was presented in the anime. And I think that it's just, I don't know, it's something that Madhouse has always done, that anytime they really tackle a fantasy story, they do a very good job with it. I think they're one of the best studios for fantasy stories. I mean, besides Studio Bind that works on Mushoku Tensei. But, I mean, I don't know, just the way this series has been, it makes me very happy to see the return of Studio Madhouse, the return of a studio that made and shaped so many classics that many people don't even realize that's in the anime industry. And I am very thankful to have a staff that's obviously dedicated to making just an amazing series for us all to see. It's really good to have them back and all that. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do leave me a like. It does help me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. Do subscribe if you want more of my content to appear in your, YouTube feed. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.